When Mickie James did this, fans were shocked, or perhaps it was the moment when Chyna pinned Jeff Jarrett to become the first female Intercontinental Champion in history. These female wrestlers didn't just break barriers, they smashed them, from AJ Lee's shocking kisses to the daring antics of Sable, proving they could put on a show and were just as tough as their male counterparts. And fans were about to relive some of the most intense and unforgettable moments in women's wrestling history. That left audiences speechless, with one shocking event being the clash between Mickie James and Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22, a match that wasn't just a showdown between two talented wrestlers but the climax of a storyline that had captivated fans for months, as the build-up saw Mickie playing the role of a crazed, obsessed fan of Trish, her character increasingly unstable, fixating on Trish in disturbing ways, copying her moves, dressing like her, and even attempting to befriend her while acting more erratic each week, a gripping narrative that drew fans in and created real anticipation for their showdown. And as WrestleMania 22 approached, excitement reached a fever pitch, the arena electric with cheers for Mickie despite her villainous role, setting the stage for an unforgettable match, with Mickie taking control from the start, targeting Trish Stratus's left leg with ruthless precision, while Trish, ever the professional, sold the injury brilliantly, adding to the drama as fans cheered on edge of their seat as Mickie dominated her idol-turned-rival, and the match then took a dramatic turn. When Mickie countered a straitjacket attempt, she uniquely posed to the camera with a shocking, suggestive taunt, grabbing Trish in a way that simulated an oral gesture, leaving the audience in stunned silence before they erupted in cheers as the match continued. And although Mickie then tried to execute a straitjacket move of her own, both women struggled to perform it, resulting in a botched spot that couldn't be hidden. The crowd gasped as the move fell apart, but Mickie quickly recovered, using her version of Trish's chick kick, called the Mick Kick, to win the match, and the fans erupted in applause, celebrating Mickie's hard-fought victory despite the botched spot, with the match being memorable for its intensity and shocking moments. Yet the aftermath was just as dramatic backstage, as Vince McMahon was furious over Mickie's suggestive taunt, confronting her angrily about the time, effort, and money it would take to edit the footage for future broadcast. And Mickie James' controversial moment at WrestleMania 22 became one of the most talked-about incidents in wrestling history, with a suggestive taunt and botched spot edited out of future versions of the match. But the memory of that night remains vivid for fans who witnessed it live. And now let's move our attention to one of the most unforgettable moments in WWE history involving Paige and Natalya, an incident that took place in 2015 and is still talked about today for its sheer audacity and shock value, as Paige, known for her rebellious persona and gothic appearance, was set to face off against the veteran Natalya in a match that was part of the Total Diva storyline. The clash between these two wrestlers already highly anticipated, but what happened during the match took everyone by surprise. With Paige, whose real name is Saraya Jade Bevis, always standing out in the WWE universe, being unlike the other girls and here to break all the rules, with her black hair, pale skin, and punk rock attitude, a breath of fresh air in a world dominated by more conventional female wrestlers. Her character designed to be the antithesis of the typical WWE diva. And she embraced this role wholeheartedly, as Paige's rebellious nature often clashed with the more traditional and conservative characters, making her a fan favorite and a constant source of controversy, while Natalya, whose real name is Natalie Catherine Neidhart Wilson, came from a long line of wrestling royalty as the daughter of Jim, the Anvil Neidhart, and a member of the legendary Hart family, with wrestling in her blood and known for her technical prowess and dedication to the sport. And the match between Paige and Natalya was set up to be a classic clash of personalities. And as the match progressed, it became clear that Paige had no intention of playing it safe, fully in her element, taunting Natalya and playing to the crowd, the tension between the two wrestlers enormous, the audience on the edge of their seats. And then in a moment that left everyone in shock, Paige did something no one saw coming. She licked Natalya's face, an act both suggestive and provocative that immediately shocked the WWE universe, the crowd erupting in a mix of cheers and gasps. Commentators left speechless. A moment replayed and discussed for years to come, and as we delve deeper into the world of female wrestlers who pushed boundaries, it is essential to acknowledge early pioneers like the Fabulous Moolah, born Mary Lillian Ellison in 1923, whose career spanned over 5 decades, making her one of the most influential figures in women's wrestling, though her legacy is not without dark and controversial aspects, as Moolah began her wrestling career in the 1940s, a time when women's wrestling was still in its infancy, quickly rising to prominence by capturing the Women's World Championship in 1956, her dominance in the ring exceptional as she held the title for a combined total of over 30 years, her in-ring prowess unmatched, and charisma made her a household name, becoming a symbol of female empowerment in a male-dominated industry. but Moolah's influence extended beyond her wrestling career, as she established a wrestling school, training and promoting a new generation of female wrestlers, many of whom went on to achieve great success in the industry, crediting Moolah for their skills and opportunities. However, beneath the surface of her seemingly benevolent mentorship lay a series of troubling allegations that came to light in the mid-2000s, when former trainees began to speak out against Moolah, accusing her of financial and sexual exploitation, with the allegations gaining significant attention in 2018 when WWE announced the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, sparking severe backlash as fans and former wrestlers alike condemned the decision to honor her, and WWE ultimately renamed the event to the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal in response, with some of the most damning accusations claiming that Moolah had been pimping out her trainees to male wrestlers and promoters, arranging for them to be sent to wrestling events only to find themselves coerced into sexual activities, showing a stark contrast between her behind-the-scenes actions and her public persona as a trailblazing wrestler. As wrestling executive Bruce Pritchard discussed on his podcast Something to Wrestle With, acknowledging the dark cloud over Moolah's legacy, stating that while she was a significant figure in wrestling history, the accusations could not be ignored. Yet despite these allegations, Moolah's impact on women's wrestling cannot be denied, though the revelations about her exploitative behavior have left a lasting stain on her legacy. And our next story about a female wrestler who pushed the limits is about the legendary Chyna, known as the ninth wonder of the world, whose career was full of groundbreaking moments. One of the most shocking and charisma made her a household name, becoming a symbol of female empowerment in a male-dominated industry. But Moolah's influence extended beyond her wrestling career, as she established a wrestling school, training and promoting a new generation of female wrestlers, many of whom went on to achieve great success in the industry, crediting Moolah for their skills and opportunities. However, beneath the surface of her seemingly benevolent mentorship lay a series of troubling allegations that came to light in the mid-2000s, when former trainees began to speak out against Moolah, accusing her of financial and sexual exploitation, with the allegations gaining significant attention in 2018 when WWE announced the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, sparking severe backlash as fans and former wrestlers alike condemned the decision to honor her. And WWE ultimately renamed the event to the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal in response, with some of the most damning accusations claiming that Moolah had been pimping out her trainees to male wrestlers and promoters, arranging for them to be sent to wrestling events only to find themselves coerced into sexual activities, showing a stark contrast between her behind-the-scenes actions and her public persona as a trailblazing wrestler, as wrestling executive Bruce Pritchard discussed on his podcast Something to Wrestle With, acknowledging the dark cloud over Moolah's legacy, stating that while she was a significant figure in wrestling history, the accusations could not be ignored. Yet despite these allegations, Moolah's impact on women's wrestling cannot be denied, though the revelations about her exploitative behavior have left a lasting stain on her legacy. And our next story about a female wrestler who pushed the limits is about the legendary Chyna, known as the ninth wonder of the world, whose career was full of groundbreaking moments. One of the most shocking and controversial moments in Chyna's career was her feud with Jeff Jarrett in 1999, a rivalry that culminated in a match that changed the landscape of women's wrestling forever, as Chyna, whose real name was Joanie Laurer, broke barriers from the moment she entered the ring, a powerhouse with a physique and strength that rivaled many male wrestlers, her presence intimidating and quickly establishing her as a force to be reckoned with in WWE. And Chyna's willingness to compete against men set her apart from other female wrestlers, earning her a unique place in wrestling history, with the feud between Chyna and Jeff Jarrett beginning in the summer of 1999. Jarrett, then Intercontinental Champion, known for his chauvinistic attitude and belief that women had no place in the ring, making him the perfect opponent for Chyna, determined to prove women could compete at the same level as men. The tension palpable and their rivalry quickly becoming one of the most talked-about storylines in WWE, with the climax at the No Mercy pay-per-view in October 1999, a match built as a good housekeeping match where household items could be used as weapons, adding extra controversy and playing into Jarrett's chauvinistic persona. And from the moment the bell rang, it was clear this match would be unlike anything fans had seen before, with Chyna and Jarrett fighting with ferocity that left the audience in awe. The ring becoming a battlefield as both competitors used everything from frying pans to ironing boards, Chyna showing no hesitation wielding these items with devastating effect and proving she could hold her own against Jarrett. The match reaching its peak when Jarrett tried to use a kitchen sink as a weapon only for Chyna to counter with a low blow, the crowd erupting in cheers as she took the opportunity to deliver a series of punishing blows, the intensity continuing to build with both wrestlers pushing each other to the limits and delivering incredible amounts of punishment. In a shocking turn of events, Chyna emerged victorious, pinning Jarrett to become the first and only woman to hold the Intercontinental Championship, and up next Mickie Knuckles, whose story takes us into the brutal world of hardcore wrestling, where one woman's willingness to endure and inflict extreme pain has made a lasting impact on the industry, as Mickie Knuckles, known for her brutal matches in promotions like IWA Mid-South and CZW, faced both men and women in some of the most violent matches in wrestling history, beginning her journey into hardcore wrestling in the early 2000s, quickly establishing herself as not your typical wrestler, with fierce determination and a willingness to push her body to its limits, earning a reputation as one of the toughest competitors in the business. Her matches intense and brutal, often leaving her battered and bloodied but never defeated. And in one memorable match, the ring ropes were replaced with strands of barbed wire, turning the ring into a nightmarish battlefield, which for many wrestlers would be terrifying. But for Mickie Knuckles, it was another chance to prove her strength. The match beginning with a sense of dread hanging over the arena, fans knowing they were about to witness something truly brutal, and from the opening bell Mickie and her opponent tore into each other with ferocity that left the audience in stunned silence. The barbed wire quickly coming into play as both wrestlers were whipped into the sharp strands, flesh tearing and blood flowing freely, with Mickie showing no fear, her face a mask of determination and pain, taking and delivering punishing blows with an array of weapons, from steel chairs to fluorescent light tubes, and as the match wore on, the violence escalated to almost unbearable levels. Mickie and Ian took turns driving each other into the barbed wire, their bodies becoming increasingly mangled with each passing minute. The crowd watching in a mixture of horror and awe as Mickie continued to fight. And in the end, Mickie Knuckles emerged victorious, but the true victory was in the statement she made. And another noteworthy example of a female wrestler who pushed the boundaries is Melina, who entered WWE in the mid-2000s and quickly gained attention with her unique and athletic skills, starting as the manager of M&M, a tag team with Johnny Nitro, later John Morrison, and Joey Mercury, with Melina's charisma and in-ring ability soon leading her to the women's division, where she became a multi-time women's champion, though her career was not without controversy, often taking things to the extreme, including one major rumor involving her alleged affair with Batista while she was dating fellow WWE superstar John Morrison, with gossip escalating when Smith Hart, Honky Tonk Man, and Val Venis hinted at the affair. And London and Kendrick also mentioned her alleged infidelities in their first shoot interview, the most significant piece of evidence coming from Batista himself, who referred to Melina as a friend in his book, fueling further speculation, with the locker room buzzing over the scandal. And it was said that John Morrison, eager to fit in, allowed the affair to happen, depicting him as more focused on his career than his personal life, with London and Kendrick noting that Morrison knew his position was delicate and confronting Batista could have jeopardized his job. And the situation was so tense that Vince McMahon reportedly wanted Morrison to stand up to Batista, and when he didn't, it allegedly cost him Vince's respect. And any significant career advancement aside, not everyone believed in the affair, as some thought Batista and Melina got together only after she and Morrison broke up, making it less of an affair and more of a rebound, with Batista trying to clarify in his book and interviews that he and Melina didn't date until after her breakup with Morrison. Yet the rumor persisted among the locker room and fans, with Tommy Dreamer recounting how wrestlers reacted when they heard about Batista and Melina, mentioning that most wanted Morrison to take action, and even Vince McMahon saw it as a sign of weakness when he didn't, affecting his career. And the rumor also harmed Melina's reputation, with someone using their backstage influence to spread it. That person respected enough that their word was taken seriously, further damaging her standing. Yet despite the controversy, Melina excelled in the ring, becoming a multi-time women's champion and one of the most memorable female wrestlers of her era. And now we turn to Sable, one of the most influential and daring figures in WWE female history, born Rena Marlette Lesnar, who made her WWE debut in the mid-1990s and quickly became a sensation. Her arrival marking a significant shift in how women were presented in WWE, with an impact on the industry still felt today. Initially joining WWE as the valet for her then-husband Mark Marrow, it didn't take long for her to outshine him and become a star in her own right, with stunning looks and undeniable charisma, captivating audiences and becoming one of the most popular figures in WWE, her rise to fame coinciding with the Monday Night Wars between WWE and WCW, a period when WWE was eager to attract viewers by any means necessary. And one of the most memorable moments in Sable's career came at the 1998 Over the Edge pay-per-view, in a match against Jacqueline, wearing a handprint bikini, an outfit that left little to the imagination. And pushing the boundaries of what was acceptable on television at the time, Sable's impact wasn't limited to the wrestling ring, as in 1999 she posed for Playboy magazine, becoming the first WWE diva to do so, with her issue selling over 1 million copies and solidifying her status as a sex symbol, a bold move that blurred the lines between wrestling and mainstream entertainment, further cementing her legacy as a trailblazer. Yet her career was not without controversy, as in 1999 she filed a $110 million lawsuit against WWE alleging sexual harassment and unsafe working conditions, claiming she was subjected to inappropriate behavior and that WWE had created a hostile work environment. With the lawsuit eventually settled out of court but leaving a lasting impact on her career and reputation, and her departure from WWE that year marked the end of an era, though her influence continued, including a brief return in 2003 where she was involved in high-profile storylines, including a feud with Tori Wilson and a romantic angle with Vince McMahon, with fans excited to see her return and remembering her as one of the most iconic figures in WWE history. Her provocative persona and daring outfits challenging traditional notions of femininity and helping pave the way for future generations of female wrestlers. And speaking of groundbreaking performers, Lita stands out as one of the most iconic female wrestlers in WWE history, with a career full of jaw-dropping moments that left fans in awe. Her journey to wrestling stardom beginning in the late 1990s, inspired by Mexico's lucha libre style discovered during a trip to Mexico, a high-flying acrobatic style that would become her trademark, and setting her apart from other female wrestlers of her time. Lita made her WWE debut in 2000, initially aligning with Essa Rios, but it was her partnership with the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, that truly catapulted her to fame, as Lita's daredevil antics and fearless attitude quickly made her a fan favorite, unafraid to take risks performing moves typically reserved for male wrestlers, with her signature move, the moonsault, becoming a highlight of her matches and showcasing her incredible athleticism. Yet it wasn't just her in-ring abilities that made Lita stand out, but her willingness to push boundaries and create moments that would be remembered for years, with one unforgettable incident occurring during a match with Trish Stratus, as the two women shared one of the most storied rivalries in WWE history, pushing each other to new heights with matches full of intensity, drama, and incredible athleticism. And during one particular match, Lita took things to a whole new level by forcefully kissing Trish on the mouth. An unexpected act that was not just a display of dominance but a moment that blurred the lines between reality and the scripted world of wrestling, shocking, provocative, and completely unexpected, becoming one of the most talked about moments in WWE history, showcasing Lita's willingness to go to extreme lengths to make an impact, the kiss serving as a statement that she was not afraid to break the mold and challenge the status quo in a male-dominated industry, proving that female wrestlers could be just as daring, controversial, and unforgettable, even while facing numerous injuries, including a devastating neck injury that required surgery. And keeping her out of action for over a year, Lita's determination and passion for wrestling never wavered, as she made a triumphant return to the ring, continuing to push boundaries and create unforgettable moments, with her influence extending beyond her in-ring career, inspiring countless female wrestlers to pursue their dreams and break down barriers in the wrestling industry. And in 2014, Lita was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a fitting recognition of her incredible career and contributions to wrestling. And next up, AJ Lee, born April Jeanette Mendez, a wrestling legend who shook up WWE with her wild persona and amazing skills, growing up in a tough environment in New Jersey and finding comfort in wrestling, idolizing female wrestlers like Lita and Trish Stratus, with her passion leading her to pursue a career in wrestling, starting training in 2007 at the age of 20, and after working in various independent promotions, signing a developmental contract with WWE in 2009 and beginning her journey in WWE's Developmental Territory Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW, making her main roster debut in 2011 on the third season of WWE's reality competition show NXT, her quirky, energetic personality quickly making her a fan favorite, and not long before she became a prominent figure on WWE television, with one of the most shocking and memorable moments of AJ's career occurring during a storyline involving multiple male wrestlers in a single night, where AJ kissed John Cena and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, leaving fans and fellow wrestlers stunned. AJ's storyline with him was another example of her willingness to take things far, as the two were involved in a troubling on-screen relationship that saw AJ's character evolve from a loving girlfriend to a manipulative and unpredictable force, with the storyline culminating in a memorable moment at WrestleMania 28, where AJ's kiss with Daniel Bryan led to his quick defeat by Sheamus in just 18 seconds, a shocking moment that became one of the most talked about events of the night and solidified AJ's status as a key player in WWE. And her career continued to reach new heights when she became the general manager of Monday Night Raw in 2012, a position she held for several months, with her tenure filled with drama, controversy, and unforgettable moments, showcasing her versatility and ability to captivate audiences in various roles. Yet it was her in-ring performances that truly defined her career, with AJ Lee's technical prowess, agility, and ability to tell compelling stories through her matches earning her widespread acclaim, and in 2013 she won the WWE Divas Championship, holding the title for a record-setting 295 days. Her reign marked by memorable feuds with wrestlers like Kaitlyn, Natalya, and Naomi, and incredible matches that cemented her as one of the top female wrestlers in WWE, and despite facing numerous injuries and personal struggles, including her battle with bipolar disorder, which she openly discussed in her memoir Crazy Is My Superpower, AJ remained a force in wrestling until her retirement. In 2015, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable moments and groundbreaking achievements that continue to inspire wrestlers and fans alike. And lastly, Sunny, a trailblazer in wrestling, whose story is one of the most controversial and captivating WWE fans as one of the most popular figures of the mid-1990s. Sunny's relationships with fellow wrestlers, especially Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, created a whirlwind of drama that fascinated fans and shook the WWE locker room with her relationship with Shawn Michaels beginning dramatically in the mid-1990s after Shawn was attacked by a group of men at a bar, leaving him severely injured, and with no one else to help. Sunny, who was staying in the same hotel, made sure he received medical attention and visited him daily as he recovered, an act of kindness that sparked a close relationship which quickly turned romantic. Their affair hardly a secret as Sunny and Shawn were often seen together, their chemistry undeniable, even vacationing in Jamaica where their relationship deepened, with Sunny later detailing their adventures in her autobiography. Yet the relationship was complicated by the fact that Sunny was already involved with another wrestler, Chris Candido, known as Skip, making the affair an open secret in the WWE locker room, causing tension and disapproval among their peers. And when the Sunny Days promo insinuated that Bret Hart had also been involved with Sunny, the locker room was stunned. And Bret didn't immediately understand the implication, and it wasn't until later that night that other wrestlers explained the meaning behind Shawn's words, with the fallout from this promo being immense, as Bret's personal life was thrown into confusion and he ultimately backed out of his match with Shawn, while the Sunny Days promo added fuel to the already raging fire of the Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart rivalry, deepening the rift between Sunny and Shawn, whose romantic relationship had already ended but who still had to work together professionally, with the tension between these three superstars culminating in the infamous Montreal Screwjob later that year, one of the most controversial moments in wrestling history. And within a year of the Sunny Days promo, all three had left WWE, marking the end of an era, while Sunny's post-WWE life has been tumultuous, facing numerous legal issues and battles with addiction. Yet despite these challenges, she has made attempts to reconcile with her past, including at the Raw 15th anniversary when Sunny and Shawn Michaels shared a moment of reconciliation, and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels famously shook hands in the ring over a decade after the Montreal Screwjob. And if you enjoyed watching this video and want to explore more exciting stories like this, go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen.